Hello, my dear students. In today's class, let us learn a new lesson, that is microorganisms, friend and foe. You have seen several kinds of plants and animals. However, there are other living organisms around us which we normally cannot see. These organisms are called microorganisms, or simply we say microbes. So, what are microorganisms? They are very small organisms which cannot be seen with the unaided eye. They can be seen only with the microscope. For example, you mightly observe that during a rainy season, moist bread gets spoiled and its surface gets covered with greenish white patches. So these patches called microorganisms. This is mainly because of the presence of microorganisms in the bread. So mainly there are four types of microorganisms. So you will see it different groups of microorganisms: spiral bacteria, rod-shaped bacteria, chlamydomonas, spirogyra, amoeba, paramecium, bread mold, penicillium, and aspergillus. So, which are the four main types of microorganisms? Bacteria. Example for bacteria: lactobacillus or E. coli, etc. Algae. Second type is algae. Example for algae: Chlamydomonas, Spirogyra. And third type is fungi. Example for fungi are bread mold, penicillium, and aspergillus. And last type, that is protozoans. Example for protozoans: amoeba and paramecium. So apart from this, viruses are also considered as microorganisms. So they are different from other microorganisms because they reproduce only in the body of host organisms like bacteria, plants, or animals. Common ailments like cold, influenza, and most coughs are caused by viruses. And serious diseases like polio and chickenpox are also caused by viruses. So now you all are very familiar with coronavirus. So this is comes under virus category. Okay, so where do these microorganisms live? So microorganisms may be single cell called a unicellular, example bacteria, or multicellular such as algae and fungi. So they can survive under all types of environment ranging from ice cold climate to hot spring and desert to marshy lands. They are also found inside the bodies of animals including humans. Some microorganisms grow on other organisms while others exist freely. So microorganisms like amoeba can live alone while fungi and bacteria may live in colonies. There are different microorganisms. Some microorganisms are very useful and some are harmful. Now let us see the useful microorganisms. Microorganisms are used for various purposes. They are used in preparation of curd, bread, and cake. They are also used in cleaning up of the environment. For example, organic waste like vegetable peels, remains of animals, feces, etc. They are broken down into harmless and usable substances by bacteria. So recall that bacteria are also used in preparation of medicines. Antibiotics, will say antibiotics. In agriculture, they are used in increased soil fertility by fixing nitrogen. So the first advantage of the bacteria, that is it is used in making of a curd. So curd contains several microorganisms. Of these, the bacterium lactobacillus, so this is the name of bacteria, lactobacillus, promotes the formation of a curd. So it multiplies in milk and converts it into curd. Bacteria are also involved in making of cheese, pickles, and many other food items. The important ingredient of rava, idlis, and baturas is a curd. Next is making of bread. Yeast reproduce rapidly and produces carbon dioxide during respiration. Bubbles of the gas fill the dough and increase its volume. So this is the basis of the use of yeast in the baking industry for making bread, pastries and cakes. So here is a small activity you can try at home. Take half kg flour, either atta or maida, add some sugar and mix with warm water. Add a small amount of yeast powder and knead to make a soft dough. So what do you observe after 2 hours? Did you find the dough rising? Yes. So this is because of yeast. Yeast reproduces rapidly and produces carbon dioxide during respiration. Bubbles of the gas fill the dough and increase its volume. This is the basis of the use of yeast in the baking industry for making breads, pastries and cakes. So these are the uses we can use it in a house itself. But there are some commercial uses of microorganisms also. Microorganisms are used for the large scale production of alcohol, wine and acetic acid. Vinegar, it is also called as vinegar. Commonly we say sirka. Yeast is used for commercial production of alcohol and wine. For this purpose, yeast is grown on natural sugars present in grains like barley, wheat, rice and crushed fruit juices, etc. The process of conversion of sugar into alcohol is known as a fermentation. So we can try this also in our house through simple activity. Take a 500 ml beaker filled up 3/4 with water. Dissolve 2 to 3 tablespoons of sugar and add half spoon of yeast powder to the sugar solution. Keep it covered in a warm place for about 4 to 5 hours. Now smell the solution. The smell changes, right? So this process is called a fermentation. This is the smell of alcohol as sugar has been converted into alcohol by yeast. Okay, the entire process is called a fermentation. Next one is medicinal use of microorganisms. So whenever you fall ill, the doctor may give you some antibiotic tablets, capsules or injections such as penicillin. So why do they give these antibiotics? The source of these medicine is microorganisms. These antibiotics are made up of microorganisms, but these microorganisms are very useful so that when we consume antibiotics, it kills or it destroys the harmful microorganisms in our body. These medicines kill or stop the growth of disease causing microorganisms. Such medicines are called antibiotics. The name itself indicates antibiotics. These days, a number of antibiotics are being produced from bacteria and fungi. For example, for antibiotics are streptomycin, tetracycline and erythromycin. These are some of the commonly known antibiotics which are made from fungi and bacteria. And these antibiotics are manufactured by growing specific microorganisms and are used to cure variety of diseases. Antibiotics are even mixed with the feed of livestock and poultry to check microbial infection in animals. They are also used to control many plant diseases. So this is about the medicinal use of microorganisms. So in 1929, Alexander Fleming was working on a culture of disease causing bacteria. Suddenly he found the spores of little green mold in one of his culture plates. He observed that the presence of mold prevent the growth of bacteria. In fact, it also killed many of these bacteria. So from this, the mold penicillin was prepared. So who discovered penicillin? Alexander Fleming. Why are children and infants given vaccination at the beginning? So when a disease carrying microbe enter our body, the body produces antibodies to fight the invader. So what is invader? It is some harmful microorganisms or any other foreign material. The body also remembers how to fight the microbe if it enters again. So, if dead or weakened microbes are introduced in a healthy body, the body fights and kills them by producing suitable antibodies. The antibodies remain in the body and we are protected from the disease causing microbes. This is how a vaccine works. Several diseases including cholera, tuberculosis, smallpox and hepatitis can be prevented by vaccination. Polio drops given to children are actually a vaccine. A worldwide campaign against smallpox has finally led to its eradication from most parts of the world. These days, vaccines are made on a large scale from microorganisms to protect humans and other animals from several diseases. For example, corona. Now, this can be prevented by getting vaccine, right? The people are getting vaccine. There are different types of vaccine, Covishield, Covaxin, and some other vaccines are there. So this is mainly the purpose of the vaccine is it prevents the diseases. So in your childhood you must have been given injections to protect yourself against several diseases. Can you prepare a list of these diseases? You may take help from your parents. It is essential to protect all children against these diseases. Necessary vaccines are available in the nearby hospitals. You might have seen the advertisement on TV and newspapers regarding protection of children against polio under Pulse Polio program. So this is the last advantage of a microorganism. Some bacteria and blue-green algae are able to fix nitrogen from the atmosphere to enrich soil with nitrogen and increase its fertility. There are some bacteria or microorganism, they increases the fertility of soil through nitrogen fixation. And these microbes are commonly called biological nitrogen fixers. Here are the some nitrogen fixing bacteria like blue-green algae bacteria. So this is about today's class. Yes, today's homework is find the answers for these questions, 5 questions, and write it in your notes. Learn these question answers. First one, what are microorganisms and what are the major groups of microorganisms? Give an example for each. Third question is what are antibiotics? Give an example and define fermentation process. And last question is what are antibodies? So I hope this is understood to everyone. Thank you.